Hello, and welcome to the Abundology podcast. My name is Renee Spears, and I'm an abundance channeler and business mentor, and I help people be happy and have more money, love, time, and joy in their lives. I'm coming to you from a very beautiful, sunny, blue-skied downtown Portland, Oregon, and this is the weekly energy update for the week of September 27th, 2020. Every Sunday, I talk about how the energy is going to be for the week ahead, and I also infuse the show with some positive vibes, so you get a little positive energy boost just for listening. Let's start off this week by acknowledging how extremely intense and stressful it is right now. Almost every client that I talked to this week talked about being unmotivated and not being able to get much done. And we're comparing ourselves and the amount of what we're accomplishing to who we were pre-COVID. So if you were just getting out of bed and functioning right now, that is enough. If you only get one thing accomplished from your to-do list, that is enough. We have to remember that all the turmoil we're witnessing out in the world is also internally happening to us. We're in this time of huge transformation, internally and externally. So adjust your expectations accordingly. Adjust your expectations of yourself and others. You know, transformation is difficult, but it's always worth it in the end. It requires some destruction and chaos and some endings, some of them sad, in order for the rebirth to occur. But from these ashes we rise, and we go back to being better versions of ourselves after the transformation happens. So this week on Monday, September 28th, Saturn turns direct after being retrograde since May. And as Saturn begins moving forward, it will be covering the last few degrees of Capricorn and preparing to make its way into Aquarius in December. And it'll stay in Aquarius then for a couple years. And this is a huge energy shift, and definitely one to watch out for as we get closer to December. But with Saturn moving direct, we may notice information around governments and authority figures and those in positions of power coming to the surface, which we have been seeing this last week. So Saturn is one of the most challenging planets. It is a planet that brings great growth and lessons. It's considered the planet of karma, and it guides us to take responsibility for our lives. So that happens on Monday. Then on Tuesday, the 29th, Mars squares Saturn. So this is the second Mars square Saturn alignment this year, and it indicates growing tension and unrest. So with Saturn just moving direct, the day before, its energy will be strong, and we may see this push-pull with those in power positions, which we're kind of expecting to see this week with the Supreme Court stuff. So we may also feel a growing sense of irritability in our own lives, or unrest, or just like things aren't how you want them to be. You're ready to move on, but it's not happening yet. So that inner turmoil. So this alignment of this Mars square Saturn, it challenges us to go within and deal with all that is making us feel insecure or fearful or unloved. It kind of wants us to sit with our angst so we understand what it's trying to show us. So clearly, with these two big things happening this week, it's going to be another intense week. So build in some extra time to relax. Take things off the to-do list. Be easy with yourself and others. Do all the things that keep you balanced, and nurture your soul. A couple days ago, it took me about 2 hours of yoga and meditating and breathing and journaling and pulling cards just to balance my energy so that I could work. So taking care of yourself and your energy is the most important thing you can do this week. If you aren't balanced, it may feel like everything is falling apart, and it'll be really easy to spin into anxiety or depression. So if you feel yourself going there, stop what you're doing. Stop right there. Like, oh my God, I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety, or I am not feeling good. Stop right then and do what you need to do to get balanced. Because Monday we have Saturn going direct, then we have Tuesday we have Mars squaring Saturn, and then on Thursday, October 1st, we have a full moon. So this is the harvest moon, and this is kind of cool. In October this year, we have two full moons. One is on October 1st, and the other one is on October 31st. So the October full moon in Aries is the harvest moon, and it's being influenced by this Mars square Saturn that happens like right before the full moon. And this, in addition, can make us feel nervous and tense and anxious. We're going to find it really difficult to relax. So you're starting to get the idea about this week. It's going to be one of the most intense weeks that we've had in a long time. So once again, it's really important if you start to feel unbalanced to address it right then, because once you're off balance, and it's so much harder to get back. So if you feel anxiety, the best thing you can do is to move that energy out. Physically move it out. Do some jumping jacks, go for a walk, do something physical that burns up some energy and moves it. So the best way to deal with this week is to be really flexible. Go with the flow as much as possible. Play that Eagles song, take it easy. Do everything that you can to stay balanced. Meditation, breathing, yoga, exercise, read inspiring books, journaling, Netflixing for hours. If you're taking care of your body, when you want to do those Ayurveda things like eating apples and pears and squash and the fall harvest foods. So do all the things this week. This is not a week to just, I think I'll do a little meditation. No, this is a week to do all of the things to keep yourself balanced. And remember that this energy doesn't last forever. We will get through this time and we'll come out completely transformed and better on the other side. This week is just a little bleep in our life. So now for the story this week, and I was going to find a really inspiring story to tell, but I didn't. And I'm taking my own advice and I'm going easy on myself. So I am just happy this week that I'm actually doing the podcast. And anyway, this is a quick embarrassing story about me because I have so many embarrassing stories to choose from. So about 15 years ago, my company, Rose City Mortgage, had been awarded the #1 green company in Oregon. And I was invited to come and speak at this big sustainability conference that we were holding in Oregon. And there were business leaders from all over the country at this conference. And it was being recorded and it was put up on these big screens so people could see it in the conference. And it was like a really big deal for me. And I was excited to be presenting there. So my talk was right after lunch and I was busy, talking with other people and networking, and I didn't really have time to sit down for lunch. So I just kind of wolfed down my salad really quickly before my talk. So I do the talk and I feel like I did a wonderful job. I'm very proud and totally relieved that it was over. So I come down to my table and my son Tice was there. He was my date for the conference. So I asked my son Tice, how was it? Was I okay? Was it good? And he says, "You were fantastic, Mom, except for the lettuce stuck on your front tooth." So the whole me on the big screen and the recording show me on the big screen with a piece of lettuce spinach lettuce, I think, over my front two teeth. Oh my gosh, talk about embarrassing. So the moral of the story is always check your teeth before you give a talk, and you can get through everything. I was mortified that this happened, and now here we are a few years later. I can look back at it and laugh and have all you guys laughing with me. So as always, thank you for listening. Next week, we have the wonderful astrologer Kara James coming back to give us an update on the planets and what she expects to happen with the election. And when she came a few months ago, she said, boy, it's going to be a crazy election season. So I'm really curious to get an update from her. And that will be the first week of October that we'll air that podcast. So take extra great care of yourself this week. Remember, it is just a bleep. We'll get through it. We have rest of our lives to have amazing lives. This week just maybe isn't one of those weeks. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week.